Okay, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Perfect. Perfect, yeah. So we do need to start with the safe harbor statement, telling you the information here is subject to change at any point in time. It's mainly because the numbers that we have are constantly changing, but in general, the world is turbulent, the strategies are turbulent, so we just want to be safe here. So before we dive into the information itself, I will just quickly tell you what we will be covering. So first of all, we will start with what UiPath Marketplace is and what is its status, what are the benefits for you as a publisher and the benefits for you as a consumer of the marketplace content. Considering that you're mainly on the publishing side of things, we will be focusing on the publishing, but we will touch upon consuming briefly. Also, we will go through the detailed steps on how to be present and how to publish, then how to promote the listing that is already published, and we will share the useful resources at the end of the slide. Rohit will ship to you the recording of this session together with the presentation. All the links are clickable there, so you will be able to just go through them and find the information that you might need at some point. So this is the very introductory slide, how we position ourselves, and Marketplace is positioned as the mediator between customers, technology partners, business partners, and community. We currently have 1,500 RPA listings that are published, and we have different categories and different products that are represented. On one of the upcoming slides, we will have the summary of what in general you can publish and how to do it. This will be part that Anuj will be covering, so stay tuned for that. We have 3,000 downloads per month, 150,000 users. We have different personas, but the biggest persona is definitely RPA developer. And on average, we have 25,000 unique visitors per month on the platform. Okay. So obviously, before doing something, you have the question, like, what's the point of doing that? What do you get out of it? And this is how we are summarizing what Marketplace can bring to you. So first of all, you can become a trusted RPA publisher, then expand your reach and increase the discoverability, and finally build the professional portfolio. Now we will go through each of these pillars separately. This is how we see how you can position yourself as a reliable publisher. We have the Marketplace Security Certification Program in place, and it means that no matter what you publish on the platform, the curation process starts involving certain security, quality, and functionality checks to ensure that your content is enterprise grade and production ready, that there is nothing malicious, that the customers can use it, being sure that it's trustworthy. So for you as a builder of the content, it's a great way to actually showcase that, look, my content has been validated by UiPath. It means that you can use it and everything is fine. We have 2 levels of certification, silver certified and gold certified. Gold is just like superior to silver in terms of the checks that are done to your content. As I said, all the links are clickable. So once you get the presentation, you can go into more details to read how it works, what checks are happening to your content after you submit it. This can also help you prepare for the submission better in such a way that your content will get published easier and faster. Then when we are talking about expanding your reach and increasing the discoverability, again, obviously, when you're publishing the content, you want it to be used, not just to hang there. That is why we have made several integrations with other products to make sure that the content that you publish is discovered through them. The first integration that I want to touch upon is the integration with UiPath Studio. Thanks to this integration, your custom activities and project templates can be used by tens of thousands of RPA developers that use UiPath Studio directly from there. The same thing is happening with UiPath Assistant. UiPath Assistant is a Launchpad for automations. It's the app that is often used in biggest enterprise companies. And unlike UiPath Studio, this is mainly targeted at business users. So here you can also get exposure to business, to like thousands of business users by having your ready-to-go automations directly accessed from UiPath Assistant. Yeah, you can see it on the right, how your UiPath Assistant looks, and your ready-to-go automation can be one of these. Finally, building your professional portfolio. These are the steps that you need to take. Sorry, I muted myself. And so to list in the marketplace and to actually create this portfolio of the listings that you can then demonstrate as your expertise, as your knowledge, as your skill set as an RPA developer. First of all, you will need to register a user profile. Maybe some of you already have it. When you're registering user profile, think for yourself how exactly you want to build your portfolio, whether you're doing the personal portfolio or whether you want to do it on behalf of your employer. Many people do it on behalf of the employer just because it brings the benefit of, let's say, of offering the content to other enterprises. It's easier than doing it on personal behalf. But then you will need to discuss with your employer what happens to your content in case you decide to leave the company, like whether IP stays with you, whether IP stays with the company. And again, we have different examples when community people manage to negotiate it in such a way that they do publish it on behalf of the employer, but when they leave the company, the IP still belongs to them. So it's already a matter of your personal decision here, or a matter of your discussions with your employer, and so on. After you have the profile registered, it's time to submit the listings and following our publishing guidelines. We have different publishing guidelines depending on the type of the content you want to submit. Publishing guidelines is mirroring the upload form. So you can open the publishing guidelines in one window, then the upload form on the marketplace in another window. And this way you will be just like comparing the best practices for each particular field and typing in the information in that field. Then finally, the promotion happens. So we have prepared the Marketplace Publisher Promo Kit to make sure that you have the suggestions from us on what we think can be useful in order to promote your listings. This will be added to the useful resources at the end of the presentation. And as I said, these are clickable, so you will be able to just click and go to all the collection of materials that we have. We also have the Publisher Guidebook, and the promo kit is actually just one of the chapters of the Publisher Guidebook, because Publisher Guidebook is a huge repository of guidelines, materials, and suggestions that we have put together, and we've tried to make it as intuitive and user-friendly as possible so that the journey from the beginning till the end is clear to you. You understand what to do, what is your next step, and so on. So you will see there what are the steps. You will feel guided, at least we hope so, in your journey from A to Z when you will be following the Publisher Guidebook that we have put together. So this is another chapter of the presentation, which is about how to publish on the marketplace. And we really want to guide you in this. And this is the point when I'm giving the word to my colleague Anuj, who will be continuing the presentation. And while we are switching screens so that Anuj can start sharing, feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions. Feel free to type them in the chat. We will either take them now or when Anuj finishes. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. Hello, folks. So now that we have got an initial understanding about the marketplace, so let's look at what kind of automation can be published and what is the process related to publishing. So in UiPath Marketplace, we have basically two kind of content. So one is the paid content or the paid listings, and then we have the free content. So the custom activities with IP protection, the business solutions, and the professional services, these can be categorized into the paid content. So to publish the paid content, you have to be a vendor. And regarding the free content, there are various other automations which are available for free. The publishers can create these automations which should work with other products from UiPath family, such as with UiPath Studio or with UiPath apps or assistant. So now let's say that you want to create an automation that works with UiPath Assistant. So you should be creating a ready-to-go automation, or what we call as an RTG. So there are a set of guidelines to create an RTG that you would have to follow. Similarly, let's say you want to create an UiPath apps or an apps solution. So you can either create a template or you can create a solution. And again, you will have to keep in mind that this thing should follow the guidelines mentioned for the UiPath apps. Now, let's say you are very much interested in publishing your content on the marketplace, but you want to know what kind of content to actually publish. So let's say this is an example that you are very much interested in checking the price of top 5 cryptocurrencies on a daily basis. And you want to create a similar sort of RTG and you want to publish this on a marketplace. So what you can do is the way you are visualizing is you will be going to create an RTG that will be running on the UiPath Assistant, and then it will be presenting before you an Excel that will basically be containing the extract of the currency versus price data. And you want this to be done on a daily basis. So what you can do is you can very quickly run a search on the marketplace. You can see some of the existing listings and see if there is already something that has been created or that very closely matches your requirement. Then either you can start with it or you can, I mean, it's always good to have some kind of building blocks ready. So you can probably go through the reviews, or you can go through the unanswered questions, the various release notes, and see what kind of life cycle that selected automation has gone through. So you can understand the gaps and the issues that are yet to be resolved, yet to be addressed. And this initial exercise or this due diligence will actually give an added value to your listing. So this is going to give you a very good first-hand idea. Now, let's say you have come up with the idea. So there are a few core standards which you will have to follow, you will have to keep in mind. And these are irrespective of any category or any product. These are the standards which we also look at from a curation perspective when it comes to publishing the submitted automation. So for example, high reusability. To give you an example, if let's say you have created some automation for data table, so it should work with Excel or CSV or even with data table. So the idea is that content can be used in the multiple processes. Then comes user friendliness. So again, here you will have to keep in mind that there should not be a lot of configuration steps involved. For example, if you have created an automation for MongoDB, and if there is a very steep learning curve for the end user to actually use that automation, then that is not going to serve the purpose. Then the integrations should actually enhance the UiPath products. This is what is summarized with the third guideline. Then comes the diversity. So by diversity, we mean that you should be looking at the particular requirement from various angles. So let's say you have to read configuration values into your automation, and you come up with an approach where users can read these configuration values without installing Excel. So that's a very novel approach, a very fresh approach. Or let's say you are creating an automation to download files from the internet. So if there are existing automation where you see that download can be done using GUI by opening up the browser and in a foreground process, then the idea that you can come up with is you can probably create a process which can where you can approach the download in the background. So this is what we mean by diversity. Now comes the difficulty to replicate. So this means that it should not be something for which, let's say, one line of code can be written. So don't you think it will be a burden for the end user to first open the marketplace, install such basic kind of activities, then just writing that one line of code? So this is how we assess these various standards for quality before actually publishing the automation. So this is what we want you to take care of. These few nitty-gritties actually help us in quickly expediting the publishing. Then here we have listed a few guidelines which we expect the authors to follow during their submissions. So for example, what kind of title to choose, what kind of demo video is recommended, etc., etc. Once the listing is submitted, then we guide and communicate to the publishers if, let's say, any of these guidelines are missing. And what we have seen is that most of the existing authors on the marketplace know them by heart. And for the authors who are just starting to publish them on the marketplace, they are available on docs.uipath.com, and we will be sharing the link with you. So finally, let's say that your content is published on the marketplace, and now you will be very much eager to share it with the world. So what are the things that you can do for its promotion? So here we have created a publisher promo kit, and this is curated especially to increase your presence, to promote your presence to your network and beyond. So you can also encourage users to leave the reviews on your listing page. And apart from this, there are various channels using which you can promote your content. You can start with the social media promotion using the hashtags such as hashtag UiPath Marketplace or hashtag RPA or hashtag automation, etc. You can also create your blogs. And if you have a video channel like YouTube or Vimeo, then you can also create your demonstration video of your automation. And last but not the least, you can share it with the RP enthusiasts on UiPath forum. So there are a lot of ways in which you can actually promote your content. Now let's see the benefits of using the marketplace as a consumer. So to give you an example, let's say you are working in a travel company, and your manager asks you to pull some insights like from which particular audience group you are getting most of your query emails. So for this particular use case, how marketplace can help you as a consumer is that there are various activities to extract the signature data, to extract the table data, to extract the information in the attachments. And then there are also AI models to get insights from all of this extracted data. So it should be pretty easy for you to provide something to quickly get started. Now there are hundreds of automation examples on the marketplace. Let's say you want to create a reception help desk, you want to create a mini surveillance system, you want to create an integration with the big data technologies, or with Alexa, Droid, IBM Watson, etc., or with streaming technologies, DevOps. So there is something on the marketplace for you to get started. And this all can really give wings to your imagination. This particular exhibit tells us that there is always something on the marketplace to cover the overall life cycle of your automation. So whether it's in the discovery or the ideation phase, or if you're working with developing it, or if it's already deployed and ready to scale. So whatever product from UiPath family you have used to create your automation, there is always something on the marketplace to complement and extend it. So these next few slides basically try to paraphrase the same thing. And this one specifically mentions about the 1500 plus strong library of ready to consume content for different industries. And to help you find the most popular content on the marketplace fastly and easily, we have organized the highly used listings, the most popular listings, and grouped them by use case. For example, under the Microsoft collection, you can find different Microsoft related activities such as Office 365, Azure, Vision, etc. And specifically, we have a very important collection called as the UiPath integration activities, which are built by the UiPath folks, our internal people, and these are backed by our technology partners. So these all are officially supported by UiPath, and they can be accessed within one central location on the UiPath Marketplace, which is the UiPath integration activities collection. Now here, finally, we have linked all the resources so that you can refer them later. And with this, we come to the end of our presentation. And now I would request you, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them here.
Hi, Anuj. Thank you for the presentation. I guess I do have some questions for you. A couple of questions.
Yeah, Manoj.
So actually you showed the way that how we as an author can actually market the component. And I tried it. I have, I guess, 5 or 6 components available on the UiPath Marketplace, and I tried all the possible way to actually market those custom activities, but unfortunately that didn't work for me. So my question is how UiPath can actually support us in actually market those components, because we have a limited reach. Even if I post a blog on medium.com or LinkedIn, that will only get reach to some limited number of users. But UiPath, you have got a reach where you can send some communication to the customer or to the companies. Okay, now we have got this component that is readily available to use. So how this can be done, if possible?
I can take this question.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Manoj, for it. So as I said, we have put together the publisher promo kit, and it's specifically targeted in this direction. Because yeah, we are sharing there the best practices in terms of, I don't know, what hashtags you need to use, what how we suggest that you make the post to reflect its benefits. We do realize that, let's say, the resources that you have are limited, obviously, because everyone is limited with their own network, more or less. But still, by following the best practices that we have collected in the promo kit, you're expanding your reach. That's one. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that UiPath in some cases does share the posts of the marketplace publishers to our social media, but it's not something that we do as a rule. It's rather something that we do because it's there is the social team that has their schedule of the promotions, and when they see something that is beneficial to the expanded audience of UiPath, I don't know, customers, users, and so on, then they will also add the repost something that you're posting. But considering that we have, as I said, like 1500 RPA listings on the platform, we obviously cannot proactively promote each of them on our social media because we will just get spammy. So that's the situation.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So you can only promote component, which I think you can think that, okay, this component is good for the user. and can get the benefit if they use this component. So this is one thing. The other thing is, because again, I don't have much time actually to go to marketplace and see all the components. So is there a way that I get email every fortnight like, okay, these are the components that are uh, got updated or uploaded on the marketplace in the last 15 days or so? So if I can get that, then I can also plan in that way. Now we have, so if I'm planning to build something and if I see there, okay, this component is already there, so I can plan accordingly. And the third thing here is regarding to integration services. So I did create a component called Dropbox integration somewhere in 2019. Now, with this integration services coming into the picture, we already have got a plugin that can directly talk to Dropbox. So can we get some kind of a product roadmap from your end? Okay, these are the components or these are the applications that you are going to work on, or you are going to create some direct integration within integration services, so that we as a producer, we will not work on those stuff, because that will eventually become obsolete if UiPath actually builds their own component.
Yeah, actually, we have automation repository. We will share the link with you. So where you can go and see some of the automation ideas that we are going to work on in future or as a part of our roadmap. Regarding the question related to, I think, promotion, apart from what Sophia mentioned, I can add one more thing is that you can probably also check on the UiPath forum. So there are users and users consistently questioning about their needs and their requirements. You can probably subscribe to some of the questions where you see a similar kind of need has to be addressed, and you can put the link of your listing there. I see that your listing will probably get a huge spike if you try this approach, because this has worked in the past for many of our publishers, so it should work in your case too.
Okay, thank you. I'll try that approach. So my last question here, which is, you also mentioned that we have got a template and solutions available for UiPath apps. So are you actually planning to release something where we can actually create custom components for these UiPath apps and publish this on the marketplace?
So basically, the format in which you can submit some automation created for UiPath apps is template and solutions. If you're looking for, let's say, some kind of some model that you can use, so there are already components created by our internal folks, which you can refer. So there are components created for, I think, which work with orchestrator and use the UiPath apps functionality. There are also demo videos embedded within those listings. So you can definitely get benefited. Just try using those components created by our own folks.
So are these custom components activities or just templates?
These are basically activities, but you can look at the, because they all use the best practices that are mentioned in the documents space. So you can leverage those best practices. You can follow the exception handling. You can follow the coding patterns. So this should really be helpful to you. So as we see, there is an increase in the number of UiPath apps submissions. So we are also going to come up with probably a template which can be further used. But for now, probably this is this will suit your interest to the max.
Okay, Anuj, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, hi Anuj. Hi, everyone. So I had a question on this. So regarding the marketplace, right now it's being tied up with the business users that the companies are actually using. So I actually had a few components under my old organizations, but when I switched, I lost the access to all those marketplace components. So as I see that we don't have an option of migrating that user account to a different email ID, means is it something that means UiPath is actually thinking about for the migration thing? Means basically allowing the users to actually migrate their user ID to a different email ID.
Actually, when you register with Marketplace with whatever particular profile you register with, so with that particular profile, if you have access, and as long as you have access, you can create more admins. But if you do not have access, then it will be difficult for us as Marketplace admin also to have any check on that or to assign it in any new admins, because this is to enforce the security, the privacy. So yeah, if you still have access, then please try to add an admin. From there, it will be easy for us to switch the ownership from you to the new admin. But yeah, we cannot trigger that, but we can only act as a facilitator for that.
Okay, so basically, if I as a user has published a few items inside the marketplace, but in future, if I actually switch jobs, I cannot migrate that particular account to a different set of email ID or maybe a personal ID. Is that what you are actually indicating to?
You can do that, but you will have to do it on your own. You will have to provide us the email address to which you want to switch the ownership. But for that, you need to have the access, because we will be sharing some links, and you as an existing admin would have to click on those links, do those changes. So we can provide you the steps, but only you can take that step, and you need to be an existing admin at that point when you want to shift the ownership.
Okay, okay, got it. Thanks a lot for this, Anuj.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Anuj.
Hi, Sanjeev.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I 1.5 months back I tried to list a snippet. So it from that time it is in the review. So I am not aware what and all the mistakes I have done in while publishing it. So is there any way I can check that this is the mistake that I have done while publishing it, so that I can correct it and again do the listing?
Yeah, so basically once you submit or once you make any changes, so the SLA from our end is like 7 to 10 days. So I am sure you would have received some email probably with the corrections that you are supposed to do, or with the update that your listing has gone through. But you can still probably, if you still want to get an information, you can probably just drop me an email, and I would specifically look into the listing that you have submitted and let you know.
Sure. Can I get your email that I can?
Yeah, sure. Let me type it here. Did you get it?
Yeah, it's in the chat.
Yes, Anuj. Thanks.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions, guys?